Hello and welcome to Bizworld. The funds received through the repatriation of One Malaysia Development Berhad 1 MDB assets will be used to service the fund's debts amounting to 51 billion ringgit. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng said the funds will also be used to pay legal and litigation costs arising from efforts to repatriate and disperse 1 MDB assets around the world. In a statement, he said this sum includes the amount of interest bond and loans from the Ministry of Finance of 8.6 billion ringgit that were used to repay 1 MDB's debts to date. Yesterday, the Attorney General's Chambers announced that 1.3 billion ringgit from 1 MDB assets is to be returned to Malaysia following the U.S. Department of Justice's Kleptocracy Asset Recovery Initiative. This amount constitutes a portion of the $4.5 billion that the DOJ found to have been wrongly diverted from 1 MDB. Bank Negara Malaysia BNM's decision to cut the overnight policy rate OPR by 25 basis points to 3% yesterday was due to external factors that have dampened global trade and investments. According to Maybank IB research, the trade war risk amplified over the weekend as U.S. President Donald Trump renewed threats to raise tariffs on $200 billion in imports from China by 25% by this Friday. Meanwhile, Affin Hwang Investment Bank Berhad concurred with the sentiment as prolonged external conflicts had dragged down Malaysia's GDP in the first quarter of this year, with global demand slowing. It expects the country's GDP growth for 2019 to stay at 4.7%. While RHB Bank said besides unresolved trade tensions, which had dampened the global economy, heightened policy uncertainty, which could lead to sharp financial market adjustments. As for Allianz DBS research, the cut will likely provide a boost towards economic growth as banks lower their lending rates, which could indirectly increase consumer spending power. On further rate cuts, M-Bank research said there is a chance of a second later this year or in early 2020 should potential incoming data remain weak. Meanwhile, MIDF research has maintained its positive stance on the automotive sector amid interest rate cut by the central bank. In a note today, MIDF said yesterday's decision to cut OPR by 25 basis points to 3% has the potential to improve consumer spending. It said the total industry volume TIV growth had an inverse relationship with OPR. An OPR hike had a dampening impact on TIV growth and vice versa if OPR is cut, given improved consumer spending and basically lower higher purchase rates. As of the first quarter of 2019, the automotive sector registered a year-to-date growth of 6%, driven mainly by new national car SUV launches. Despite the potentially stronger consumer spending, it said the margins of auto players could be negatively impacted by a potentially weaker ringgit as a result of the OPR cut. Samsung Malaysia Electronics foresees bullish demand for its large-screen television segment with the launch of its latest 98-inch QLED 8K resolution television. Head of Audio-Visual Division Vincent Lee said demand for big-screen TV is growing significantly, double digits year-on-year, based on the booming sales after the introduction of 4K resolution TV.
At total sales, the portion for large screen size TVs is growing significantly, double digits year on year. The demand so far, like I shared with you earlier, the demand for larger screens is happening, and we see that happening and pretty bullish this year as well for us. 4K has been major adoption happening in Malaysia already. More than 65% of the total sales in Malaysia is with UHD, which is 4K technology. We believe as screen size grow larger, 8K adoption will also grow in tandem.
He told reporters of the launch of Samsung's new 98-inch QLED 8K TV earlier today. Following the trend, he said larger screen TVs will be the company's main focus going forward. And that wraps up Bizworld this time around. I'm Ganai Ling. Thanks for investing your time with us.